The groom, in obedience to his orders, tapped at the window of the porter's lodge, saying, "Pray, does not the Count of Monte Cristo live here?" "His Excellency does reside here," replied the concierge, but added he, glancing an inquiring look at Ali. Ali returned a sign in the negative. "But what?" asked the groom. "His Excellency does not receive visitors today." "Then here is my master's card, the Baron Danglars. You will take it to the Count, and say that, although in haste to attend the chamber, my master came out of his way to have the honor of calling upon him." "I never speak to His Excellency," replied the concierge. "The valet de chambre will carry your message." The groom returned to the carriage. "Well?" asked Danglars. The man, somewhat crestfallen by the rebuke he had received, repeated what the concierge had said. "Bless me," murmured Baron Danglars, "this must surely be a prince instead of a count by their styling him Excellency, and only venturing to address him by the medium of his valet de chambre. However, it does not signify, he has a letter of credit on me, so I must see him when he requires his money." Then, throwing himself back in his carriage, Danglars called out to his coachman, in a voice that might be heard across the road, "To the Chamber of Deputies." Apprised in time of the visit paid him, Monte Cristo had, from behind the blinds of his pavilion, as minutely observed the Baron, by means of an excellent lorgnette, as Danglars himself had scrutinized the house, garden, and servants. "That fellow has a decidedly bad countenance," said the Count in a tone of disgust, as he shut up his glass into its ivory case. "How comes it that all do not retreat in aversion at sight of that flat, receding, serpent-like forehead, round, vulture-shaped head, and sharp-hooked nose, like the beak of a buzzard?" "Ali!" cried he, striking at the same time on the brazen gong. Ali appeared. "Summon Bertuccio," said the Count. Almost immediately Bertuccio entered the apartment. "Did your Excellency desire to see me?" inquired he. "I did," replied the Count. "You no doubt observed the horses standing a few minutes since at the door?" "Certainly, your Excellency. I noticed them for their remarkable beauty." Then how comes it, said Monte Cristo with a frown, that, when I desired you to purchase for me the finest pair of horses to be found in Paris, there is another pair, fully as fine as mine, not in my stables? At the look of displeasure, added to the angry tone in which the Count spoke, Ali turned pale and held down his head. It is not your fault, my good Ali, said the Count in the Arabic language, and with a gentleness none would have thought him capable of showing, either in voice or face. It is not your fault. You do not understand the points of English horses. The countenance of poor Ali recovered its serenity. Permit me to assure your Excellency, said Bertuccio, that the horses you speak of were not to be sold when I purchased yours. Monte Cristo shrugged his shoulders. It seems, Sir Steward, said he, that you have yet to learn that all things are to be sold to such as care to pay the price. His Excellency is not, perhaps, aware that M. Danglars gave 16,000 francs for his horses? Very well. Then offer him double that sum. A banker never loses an opportunity of doubling his capital. Is your Excellency really in earnest? Inquired the steward. Monte Cristo regarded the person who durst presume to doubt his words with the look of one equally surprised and displeased. I have to pay a visit this evening, replied he. I desire that these horses, with completely new harness, may be at the door with my carriage. Bertuccio bowed, and was about to retire, but when he reached the door, he paused, and then said, At what o'clock does your Excellency wish the carriage and horses to be ready? At 5 o'clock, replied the Count. I beg your Excellency's pardon, interposed the steward in a deprecating manner, for venturing to observe that it is already 2 o'clock. I am perfectly aware of that fact, answered Monte Cristo calmly. Then, turning towards Ali, he said, Let all the horses in my stables be led before the windows of your young lady, that she may select those she prefers for her carriage. Request her also to oblige me by saying whether it is her pleasure to dine with me. If so, let dinner be served in her apartments. Now, leave me, and desire my valet de chambre to come hither. Scarcely had Ali disappeared when the valet entered the chamber. Monsieur Baptistin, said the Count, you have been in my service 1 year, the time I generally give myself to judge of the merits or demerits of those about me. You suit me very well. Baptistin bowed low. It only remains for me to know whether I also suit you. Oh, Your Excellency! Exclaimed Baptistin eagerly. Listen, if you please, till I have finished speaking, replied Monte Cristo. You receive 1,500 francs per annum for your services here, more than many a brave subaltern, who continually risks his life for his country, obtains. You live in a manner far superior to many clerks who work 10 times harder than you do for their money. Then, though yourself a servant, you have other servants to wait upon you, take care of your clothes, and see that your linen is duly prepared for you. Again, you make a profit upon each article you purchase for my toilet, amounting in the course of a year to a sum equaling your wages. Nay, indeed, Your Excellency. I am not condemning you for this, Monsieur Baptistin, but let your profits end here. It would be long indeed ere you would find so lucrative a post as that you have now the good fortune to fill. I neither ill-use nor ill-treat my servants by word or action. An error I readily forgive, but wilful negligence or forgetfulness, never. My commands are ordinarily short, clear, and precise, and I would rather be obliged to repeat my words twice, or even 3 times, than they should be misunderstood. I am rich enough to know whatever I desire to know, and I can promise you I am not wanting in curiosity. If, then, I should learn that you had taken upon yourself to speak of me to any one favorably or unfavorably, to comment on my actions, or watch my conduct, that very instant you would quit my service. You may now retire. I never caution my servants a second time, remember that. Baptistin bowed, and was proceeding towards the door,